Hello, everyone. My name is Dominic DeMore, and I want to thank you all for tuning in to the second best thing you'll hear all week. We have a great show for you today that includes a top-notch film review of a very funny movie, at least in my own opinion, as well as the box office results for last weekend and our predictions for what will win this weekend. Will Suicide Squad hold on to the top spot? Will a newcomer make a challenge? Will all those salty wieners from Sausage Party make a move and stay atop the box office? This is the I've Had Better Movies podcast. Let's kick it off. James, what film will we be reviewing today?
Well, since you sort of already gave it away,
A little bit.
I'm just going to say Sausage Party.
Sausage Party.
There's no lead into that.
No. For those of you who are unaware, this film is an animated R-rated comedy from the guys who brought you Pineapple Express and things like that. Essentially everything everything Seth Rogen has ever been in.
Yeah.
And it stars a ton of talented voice actors, including Edward Norton, which was a major surprise to me.
Sneaky pick.
Yeah. All the voice actors play assorted foods, vegetables, meats, condiments, things like that from a supermarket. And they all believe that humans, when they buy them, are taking them to heaven, essentially. And in heaven, all your dreams come true, and the sausages get to have sex with the hot dog buns and all that dirtiness.
Very raunchy.
Yes, it was extremely raunchy. But
it's like an animated porn.
Yes,
for food.
It was very. I called it a food orgy in my review that I wrote on www.ihbpodcast.com.
Didn't have a chance to read it yet.
No, you did not.
People work during the day.
Yeah, some people have lunch. It's good.
I'm also close to being over my data for the month. I have one more day.
Yeah. What do you use all your data
Dude,
on?
it's my brother. I know he streams podcasts. I know it. And it's probably not even our podcast.
No, I doubt it. But the kind of twist to the story is when a small group of the food finds out what actually happens when you leave the market. You get eaten and mauled and boiled and
cut.
Yeah, flayed. So we have Seth Rogen, our main protagonist, and his girlfriend, Kristen Wiig, who plays a hot dog bun, along with Edward Norton, a bagel, and some guy I can't remember. David Krumholtz, who plays, he was in 10 Things I Hate About You. Yeah, he plays what the hell is he playing? A lavash, which is a form of flatbread.
Yeah, I thought he looked like a pita.
Yeah, it's essentially a Middle Eastern pita. So they all their first mission is to get back to their aisle as they've been scattered across the supermarket, and B, they have to warn everybody and tell them what really goes on when you leave the store. And none of them believe them because obviously they believe it. There's a very weird religious thing in this film where they like comment on it, where it's like, you believe in God, but you've never seen it, and you just believe it because other people told you to believe it. So there's a little bit of political,
very deep,
yeah,
thought process
underneath the dick and
ball jokes.
Yeah, a lot of them. And on top of that, they have to contend with an evil douche, an actual feminine hygiene product.
Not just a douche because we think it's a douche. It's an actual douche.
Yes. All right. So that's the basic. Yeah.
Basically gets on steroids?
Yeah, he roids up. And
super weird.
Yeah. That's the basic plot of the film. James, let's start off with some of the positives. What did you like about the movie?
I thought the writing was terrific. So many good one-liners. Just the dialogue between the hot dog and the buns was like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Super dirty. Super dirty. I can't even describe how dirty it actually was. It was like a porno.
We try to run a clean podcast. Occasionally we'll let an F word slip or here or there, but just even describing this movie, I feel like we're going to get called up on
even just what the buns look like.
Yeah.
It's basically a vagina.
Yeah. They're the way their mouths look, it's super vagina-like.
They talk about being tight and never opened up.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of things. I thought the writing was cool. There's a ton of, not only are there dirty jokes, but there's also a lot of food puns.
Yeah.
Like, We'll get into it later. I have a couple of issues with the douche played by Nick Kroll, but one of my bigger issues, or one of the things I didn't mind with him, is he had a lot of like food puns where he would say the name of a food, and then that food would kind of just pop up and be like, did you say my name?
No,
like,
I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
I love those.
Like, I busted up laughing. There's one where he's talking to somebody. He's like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. And then queso cheese pops around the corner. It's like, did you say queso? And he turns around and is like, now that one was a stretch. I thought that was hilarious.
That was a good one. Nick Kroll did a nice job as the antagonist, too. I think he's got a perfect voice for being a dick.
Yeah, this is an area I think we're gonna differ. I think it's because I've probably seen more of Nick Kroll's stuff than you have.
Yeah, I don't watch him that often.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of his in general, but also he uses this character a lot. Like, he has a TV show called The Nick Kroll Show. I think that's what it's called. It's a sketch comedy show, and he has an entire character based around this. He's essentially Jersey Shore.
Yeah, that's
like,
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. And then also on Parks and Rec, he plays a variation of the character where the dude's actually, oddly enough, on the show, he has a radio show and he is the douche, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and
maybe he brought that. They kind of asked him,
probably,
what character do you want to be? He's like, I want to be a douche.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he was involved in the writing somehow. I bet you a lot of these guys were. So I just had an issue with the fact that, like, I've heard all of that before from him. So I probably didn't find it as funny as a lot of people.
That's true.
Yeah, but that's, again, it's only my opinion, so.
All preference at that point.
Yeah. Another thing that I liked, the animation was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciated the fact, because I don't know if this is completely 100% true, but I don't think they were showing this movie in 3D anywhere. Which makes me think
Thank God.
Which makes me think they didn't do it in 3D, which makes me appreciate the filmmakers even more. Because it would have been super easy to make this movie 3D and get $4, $5, $6 out of every moviegoer just to be like, hey, we're padding that bottom line. Like, it'll make your box office look that much bigger. Like, that's one of the reasons Avatar blew up, is because everybody was seeing it in 3D. Mm-hmm. That's an extra $5 or $6 every time somebody goes to the movies.
Yep.
So I appreciated the fact that the moviegoers or the filmmakers didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. I also appreciate that this is kind of a new concept.
Oh, yeah. In a year of sequels and remakes, this is definitely one of those original ideas.
It was a very good feeling going to theater and seeing something different,
mm-hmm.
which we rarely do.
Yeah.
Or rarely talk about.
Mm-hmm. Especially how many movies we see now. It's all remakes. But there are still some out there. We talked about it a little bit last week. You can find them, but one getting this high of a profile is really nice. There's a couple other things that I liked just running down. I thought Seth Rogen was a pretty good protagonist. Kristen Wiig was solid. I thought Selma Hayek.
I was just going to say her.
Oh, were you?
I
Go
love
ahead.
her. Selma Hayek was perfect. I felt like I actually saw her while watching their burrito. What was she? No, she was
a taco.
Taco.
Teresa the taco.
Hard shell taco.
Hard shell taco.
Of course.
Teresa the lesbian taco.
The lesbian taco. I loved her being a lesbian too.
It definitely added a new dimension.
Because she was in love with the bun.
Yeah, everybody's in love with the bun.
And then it helped with like the last 4 minutes of the film.
Oh, that last 4 minutes, which neither one of us has touched on yet, it practically made the movie for me. I don't generally laugh, like side-splittingly laugh at movies. Even when there's something super funny, I'm more of the like one loud ha, and then I just kind of chuckle to myself. This movie, I had to catch my breath at one point. I was like, I can't believe they are doing that right now.
So many different positions.
So many. And then just like
different combinations of what was going on.
Yeah.
I guess essentially the gay foods.
Yeah. And then like...
Or the bisexual foods.
Yeah.
Is mostly what it was.
All of them pretty much. Like, I don't think there wasn't probably a straight food in this entire movie. Because at one point, all of them were on top of it. It was literally a food orgy.
Yes.
Yeah, so we look forward to that.
I also like the part where they made fun of Pixar. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, the bumper sticker? Yeah, that was pretty good.
Dixar?
Yeah.
Very clever.
Keep an eye out for that little Easter egg. Because it's not super obvious, but if you Pay attention to the one car in the movie. You'll see it. Unfortunately, like most movies, it's not perfect. So what are some of your negatives from Sausage Party?
A lot of points, and this is probably because of the story, they just felt long. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a short movie. It was an hour and a half. And there were parts of it where I was kind of bored.
Yeah. For me, it felt like... Well, I have two examples. First, it felt like every time you had to give meaningful dialogue, the movie comes to a screeching halt because it's so many joke after joke that the legitimate movie parts kind of fall by the wayside. And it's like, this is boring. Why am I watching this? I don't care about the story that much, but at the same time, I do care because it definitely dragged the movie down. I describe it like this, and you can also read this in my article. I mention it. Try to get through the first paragraph if you're not a wrestling fan. I swear to God, I make a point. But at www.ihbpodcast.com.
Wrestling again.
Yeah, I'm on a kick.
I'm keeping track. This is the 5th week.
Probably. In wrestling, there's a term for a certain type of match. It's called a spot fest, where you have these giant moments like the ones like where when we were kids and you had those big tables, ladders, and chairs match, and people are falling off of ladders and like big things are happening. Those are called spots. And in spot fest matches, there's not a whole lot of like technical wrestling. Like there's not a really good flow to a match. It's more like moment after moment after moment. But in those matches, you still have to watch somebody set up a table, which is not very exciting, and oftentimes they screw it up because they're sweating and all that. So you have to watch them set up the table in order to see somebody fall through it 15 minutes later. That's what this movie felt like. Like the lows were really low, but the highs were really high.
That is a very good analogy.
I thought so. Like I said, get through the first paragraph and I make a solid point.
Hopefully a non-wrestling fan will enjoy that too.
I think so. I think I put a decent spin on it.
That is an interesting take. Yeah. You've done good.
That'll do, pig.
That'll do.
All right, what are some of the things you didn't like besides the slow story moments?
I mean, there's not much. That was kind of the only downers for me.
I can't say I exactly disagree with you. Like, the lows really brought this movie down for me. So it's not probably going to end up in my top 5. It might end up in like my top 20 this year. But one thing that I don't know how you felt. We haven't talked about this, but the swearing. I swear a lot in my daily life. In my general conversations with you guys and other friends, the F word is very popular. But in this movie, I felt like we got a little desensitized to it. Like in the beginning of the movie, they were making jokes to where it's somebody would just be like, "What the?" I don't want to say it out loud.
What the F word?
Yeah, what the F? And you would laugh because of the emphasis on the F word. But then at the end of the movie, they would make a similar joke, but it would be like, I'm pretty sure I've heard the F word 300 times at this point. I'm not going to laugh at somebody just saying something. And they try to kind of up it and up it and up it. But when every character says the F word so many times, it loses a little bit of that punch.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to beat Martin Scorsese's record for the most F words in a film. I don't think so either. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I think it was 3.
3 hours. I don't think a movie at an hour and a half the time, can even come close to that.
Yeah. So that I had a little bit of an issue with that. It made some of the jokes fall a little flatter for me, and it felt like they were relying on that kind of dialogue a little too much.
Yeah, I disagree with you. I didn't even realize it to me until you said something. So I didn't even notice. The F word's very common in my language, especially at work. Moving on to the ratings.
Yeah. Would you like to go first or second?
I would like you to go first, since I already know your number.
Yeah. So as I've said, I did enjoy this movie a lot. I would definitely consider it fresh on the tomato meter. If you go by the Rotten Tomatoes standards, and if you are a Warner Brothers / DC fan, you probably don't anymore.
It's true.
But for me, just like I said, there was a lot of stuff that I enjoyed. The story really dragged it down for me. The Nick Kroll's performance, I wouldn't say hurt the movie, but it kind of fell a little flat for me. So that was kind of a wash. So my ultimate score is going to be a 7 out of 10 apples because I enjoyed it. Personally, I don't think I enjoyed it as something like Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. And it was right on par with something like, for some reason, How to Be Single always ends up as a barometer for me. Like, I liked that movie. I gave that movie a 7. Did I like it as much or more than How to Be Single? And I did. They're two completely different movies. And I would never judge them on the same thing, but just from pure enjoyment level and quality of what they achieved, I have to go 7 out of 10 apples.
Fair enough. Mine's actually a little bit lower, and I think that's just because
you're an evil douche who likes to rate everything much lower.
No, it's not much lower. It's just a teeny bit.
Just a teeny bit.
And that's because it's an animated film, and for some reason, I'm not a huge fan of animated films. I like people. Like, I think I enjoyed Mike and Dave. Not a considerable amount better, but a little bit. So I'm going to give this one a 6.8.
6.8
out of 10 apples.
Solid score. I flirted with that number. I when I originally wrote my review, I was around a 6.8, and I was like, I just felt like it deserved to be up there with me for How to Be Single.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
I currently
do not that I loved How to Be Single. It just happens to be that's one of the easier reviews that I remember writing, and I know I gave that one a 7 out of 10.
I don't remember what I gave it.
Right around there. You weren't that far off from me. You might have been like a 6.5 or something, or 6.4. But out of curiosity for you, seeing as you don't like animation, so is it practically impossible for you to give a 10 out of 10 to an animation film?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Unattainable.
Good to know.
I mean, what's one that you would give a 10? Don't worry. We can always pause this if you need more time.
The Lion King would be close.
That is one of my favorites, but I still won't give it a 10.
Toy Story 1 would probably be close. One of those two would probably get it for sure. But you are a heartless bastard who doesn't appreciate animation as a true art form. It's okay.
I think it's an art form. I just appreciate the activity of humans.
Mm-hmm.
In human form.
Some people
and not a drawing.
Some people can see past the drawing and see the character behind them.
And I can't. Apparently not.
All right, so those were our ratings for Sausage Party. Let us know on Facebook at the I've Had Better podcast page or in the comment section down below what you thought of the film. You can also hit us up on Twitter at IHB Podcast or send us an email to
IHBpodcast@gmail.com.
That's the one.
Minimal hesitation this time.
Minimal. I might not even have to edit that hesitation.
That's right.
All right. So that was our review for the week. And now it's time to go on to the box office battle.
Baby jump there with that B.
Yeah, well, I came in strong.
Very strong. 5 out of 5 strong.
5 out of 5 strong. Although, to be honest, it was an easy week to pick. Like, you got unlucky because A, you probably tried to be different, and B, you just had too much faith in Disney. Let's face facts.
Yes.
The man who doesn't appreciate any animation was like, yeah, no, Disney's great. They're going to win the box office.
Yeah, but I mean, that was next to Sausage Party. So I would, what are you going to do?
That's very true.
Alrighty. Next up, we have the box office battle.
I feel like I already said that.
I can read it again, damn it.
You could.
You can just edit it.
I could, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's right. A competition for bragging rights between friends who want nothing more than to prove they know more than the other guy, and who buys the first round of drinks. How the game works is each week my co-host and I will predict the top 5 films at the box office. Whoever gets the closest to the correct order wins the point for the week. Tom, how'd the week come up? Why so many papers? You got a bunch of notes? There's trees out there.
There are. And
that are being cut down.
I intend to recycle at some point. When my carbon footprint becomes big enough and the IHB podcast takes off, we will be a completely green podcast.
I like that. We could have iPads and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someday.
But you know what's not someday? Last week, because that one already happened. And the results for last weekend's box office are as follows. Holding on to the number 1 spot and following a devastating 67.3% was Suicide Squad, taking home an additional $43.8 million. Debuting in second place was the raunchy R-rated animated film Sausage Party, which James and I just so brilliantly reviewed, earning $33.6 million against only a $19 million budget. The third spot also goes to a debut film, as Pete's Dragon disappointed slightly, earning only $21.5 million against a $65 million budget. In fourth place was Jason Bourne with $13.6 million, and rounding out the top five was Bad Moms, with a strong performance in its third week, only dropping off 18.2% and bringing in an additional $11.5 million.
Thank you, Dr. Evil.
Thoughts on this week's box office?
Suicide Squad's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it dropped off less than Batman vs. Superman. Batman vs.
Is that
Superman,
the barometer we're going off of?
a little bit. And,
all right.
I mean, and you also have to remember, it broke a box office record by $30 million in its opening weekend.
In August.
Yeah, in August. So you're going to see a tremendous drop. You and I, neither one of us were expecting this big of a drop. I thought it would do around like 53, maybe even like 55 on the low end.
Yeah.
I did not see 43 coming.
Nope.
But so
not even close.
You know, like even something like Captain America, which everybody really liked this year, dropped off almost like 60% in its week. But 67 is a rough number.
Sausage Party doing actually pretty well with 34. The other movie I could think of that recently came out was Central Intelligence, and I think it did around the same.
Yeah, I think it might have even done a little less. But while you're looking that up, Suicide Squad, it's doing still good internationally. It's at 466 worldwide right now. Rumor is it needs to get to around the $800 million mark to be considered a financial success. So 466 is a good number in only its second week. I mean, it's got to get another 334 million to be considered a success, which is going to be tough. Is it going to get to where Warner Brothers wants? Probably not. But at the same time, budget was a little lower than Batman vs. Superman. They're going to be okay.
Yeah.
This isn't like a financial failure like Ghostbusters.
Yes.
You hear the numbers on that? Like $75 million loss.
Solid.
Yeah.
No one could have told us that it was coming. I think we may have even said that.
Yeah. I think the first
trailer
said that when it was the most disliked video on YouTube history.
I wonder if that would have been a smart move to just be like, yeah, let's not even release this. Let's just hide it.
Just go the Divergent route.
Yeah, let's release it on TV. Lifetime. Central Intelligence opened at 35 million. So it's very similar to Sausage Party.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully it has as long of a run as Central Intelligence, because that made money for like 5 or 6 weeks. So if you get that, and Sausage Party right now is 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good for a raunchy R-rated comedy.
Absolutely. I'm surprised they even got it R. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't rated
X17.
X17 or NR.
And yeah. This is not a movie, however, that's going to do great internationally. I think it's only at like 2.6 right now overseas. And part of it is just comedy doesn't travel well. We see that every week. And a lot of it is going to be, it's so dirty, you're not going to be able to be seen in like those stricter countries. Like China is not going to let this movie in.
Thailand.
Yeah.
It's probably, maybe even South Korea, one of those?
I don't think South Korea lets anybody see anything.
Well, that'd be North Korea.
Yeah, semantics.
Is it?
No, not really. I was not great at geography, James.
Okay.
All right. Jason Bourne, okay week after dropping off pretty hefty last. They only dropped off like 40% this week, up to 245 worldwide, doubling its budget, but still, like with marketing and stuff like that, this isn't going to be a money monster. It's going to make its money back most likely, but money monster, I don't think so.
Also not a good movie. I'm just kidding.
Don't you do that to me, James,
just kidding.
After the review you gave.
I just wanted to bring up Money Monster because you said it.
And then rounding out the top 5, Bad Moms, killing it. $85 million worldwide on a $20 million budget. Like, this movie is going to end up quintupling?
Just say the number. Don't worry about trying to get all Greek.
5 times larger than its budget, which is amazing. I think it's quintuple.
I think you're right.
You have any final thoughts before we go into our predictions?
Nah. Moving on.
All right. So since I won last weekend, I'm going to give you the honor of going first.
Alrighty. This one was a bit of a stretch. Really wasn't sure where to go with it. But I'm going to gamble once again, since I'm known as the gambler on this.
I think we're tied up, by the way, now.
Yeah, yes we are, because I gambled 2 weeks in a row. At number 1, I'm confident that War Dogs will take the number 1 spot.
Ballsy.
Yes, very, very ballsy. And I think Sausage Party is going to come in at number 2, which puts Suicide Squad at 3.
Ooh. You're going to get that one wrong.
You think?
Sausage Party debuted to 33.
What if it doesn't drop off huge?
Like less than 25%, you're talking like great movies of all time drop off. Like there are movies that everybody universally love that don't drop off 25%.
There's a possibility.
Oh, sure there is. There's a lot of possibilities in the world. There's a possibility that Margot Robbie is going to show up to my bedroom dressed as Harley Quinn. Is it likely? No. But there's a possibility.
This crossed the line to super creepy.
It did, but she's so attractive.
Super creepy, man. You should edit that out.
I'm going to leave that in.
I know you are.
Got no shame. What's your 4th spot? Or are you rethinking everything you've thought?
Well, now I got to rethink everything because you're probably right.
I'm not saying that Suicide Squad won't drop to the 3rd spot.
Yeah,
but I can guarantee that it beats out Sausage Party.
All right, so then if I go War Dogs, Kubo, and 2 Strings at number 2, and then put Suicide Squad at 3, Sausage Party at 4, and Ben-Hur at 5.
Certainly possible. I'm going to really cross my fingers that everything I said was wrong and Sausage Party doesn't come in number 2, just so I can be like, yeah, no, I totally talked him out of it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Just
all right, War Dogs at 1.
Get a clear vision of what it was.
War Dogs at 1, Kubo and 2 Strings at number 2, Suicide Squad at 3, Sausage Party at 4, Ben-Hur at 5.
Solid list.
A lot of arrows going on here.
Yeah. Mine's different, considerably. I am going Suicide Squad number 1 again. I think it'll do like 40% drop off this week, maybe. So that'll put it at like 30-ish. I think War Dogs will be number 2. I have Sausage Party at 3, Ben-Hur at 4, and Kubo and the 2 Strings at 5.
No faith in it.
No, it's possible, but
it's in a lot of theaters.
Yeah, it feels...
That didn't pan out for me last week.
Yeah, and it feels like it's one of those movies that, like, it could do, like, a Pete's Dragon and a...
Pete's Dragon still got 20 million.
Yeah, but that was in a ton of theaters. This one's only, 31?
I think they've marketed better for this one.
I would argue that.
Really? I feel like I've seen more Kubo trailers than Pete's Dragon.
I feel like the only time I've seen a Kubo trailer is, like, 3 weeks ago at the movies. Like, it's getting no TV play or anything like
I don't know. We go to so many movies, I can't remember them all.
We do. Suicide Squad at 1, War Dogs at 2, Sausage Party at 3, Ben-Hur at 4, Kubo and the 2 Strings at 5.
I don't know. Listen back to whatever the hell I said 2 minutes ago.
Nice. I'll have to find out in editing. What are your guys' top 5 for next week? Do you have predictions? Let us know in the comment section below, or hit us up on multiple social media sites, which we will give to you in a minute. But before that happens, I just want to thank all of you for tuning in this week. If you like the show and want to share it with other people, please like this episode, subscribe to the I've Had Better Movies podcast, and share it over all social media sites. Just copy that link up there, throw it in a post. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a couple likes out of it. Maybe we'll throw a Chipotle gift card your way. That is not an agreement that I will send you a Chipotle gift card yet. But I am working on a giveaway. I'll keep you guys posted.
Can I get the Chipotle gift card?
Unfortunately, James, you are not eligible.
Damn it.
Also, you can follow us on Twitter at IHB Podcast, and on Facebook, go like the I've Had Better Podcast page. James, tell the people where to find you.
You can find me on Twitter at _Kaiser_Soze, or on Facebook as Jimmy Langos. And don't forget to check out the website, www.ihbpodcast.com. And please subscribe to our iTunes feed, and you can find that by searching IHB Podcast, IHB Movies, and I've Had Better Podcast.
Mm-hmm. And I am Don Rich Moore. You can follow me on Twitter at Dom Demore or on Facebook as Dominic Demore. James, how was your show today?
I've had better.
Good night, everybody.